Welcome everyone to the Goddess Temple. And the message that I have coming through today, right now, is this ideology around money, around abundance. And so I've been like playing with this little idea today, and it just like started streaming through, and I just felt like so drawn to expressing and sharing that consciousness with you that just streamed through. And so I was just asking this question of what it truly means to be abundant. What does that actually look like? How does that play through? And what I got from that was being abundant is truly giving from a place of overflow. And I know that whoever's watching this for sure, you have heard that somewhere. You give out of because you have something, right? You give because you have. And truly look at that whole concept of you giving because you have. Now, just because someone is kind, it doesn't mean that they have something physical to offer you. What they may have the capacity for is love and a warm heart, an ear to listen to, ear that listens to you, listens to your um, stories, listens to what your experiences that shares something with you that gives you an abundance of love. Or there's someone that, has the capacity to feed you, cook you a meal because they understand how to do that. They've practiced, they've learned that. And that's an abundance, that's a skill. And so there's people that are gonna be abundant with knowledge and information, so they'll give you just that. And they give it because they're abundant in it and it's an overflow. And the thing is, we revere people that give abundantly, that give without resistance, without boundaries, that give because it's such a vast, it's 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 vast in nature, and you're like, I would love to learn more. And so that's the one thing about giving. That's the one thing about abundance is just because you have abundance, there is such a thing as giving too much. Giving too much, what happens to that is that it overwhelms the nervous system. It can be too much to hold so much information or to hold so much love, and so you push it away. You cannot hold more without doing the nervous system work and without practicing how it's like to hold more, to actually receive more, to actually even receive. You have to learn how to do that. For you to even receive, you have to learn that. For you to give, you have to learn that. For you to give with an abundance means that you are contained. And so to build your own container, to build your own reservoir, you need people to replenish you as well as you replenish others. And this is what it means to exchange. This is the concept around wealth and abundance. It's a mutual exchange. And when someone or something takes more than the other has to give, there will be a balance. And whichever way that that balance comes through, it will come through. So if you have a tendency of giving more than that you have, then you will experience what it's like to not have the capacity to give anymore. So you can learn how to replenish yourself. So you can learn how to be discerning of who you give to and what you're giving to them. And then eventually you learn that, okay, this means that um, I need to actually ask. When I am being depleted, when I am actually losing sight of what it is that I'm giving, when it's not grounded and held, when my abundance has no container and no limit, and I am not able to define what that limit is, then how the heck is someone else going to take it in? How am I going to know that, oh, someone has given, taken so much? If you're not able to articulate how much you have the ability to give, then you don't know that that person in front of you that is taking from you does not know when to stop, because they will keep drinking and taking because they feel starved because you're just giving to them. And so it's about being discerning, about asking when someone is taking so much, for you to be discerning and say, do you actually have the capacity to give me this? Because it is something I'm looking for, but I don't want to overtake because, well, it's uncomfortable to be depleting you. I feel yucky doing that. I feel so dishonoring and disorienting just to take too much of you. And it makes me feel like I am a monster, right? That I am just this hungry, shameless, um, okay, maybe shameless is not the right word here, but it's an insatiable hunger, right? And so, how do you deal with this insatiable hunger? That's also another thing, right? That's the other aspect of it. What is it like for you to draw boundaries when you are in a place of uh, navigating through this insatiable hunger? It's practicing how to be replenished, how to feel satisfied, what satisfaction and satiation looks like, and to build and understand that language, to build and understand what that experience looks like, to actually navigate through it. And this is the process of understanding what it means for you to exchange. This actually changes your money story. It changes your relationships. It changes your health and your well-being, your mental, emotional, physical well-being. It changes the way that you are spiritually. You begin to see naturally that you have such a vastness in the way that you look, in the way that you give, in the way that you express, in the way that you create. You may have been someone that um, becomes so inactive and very passive because you're just so used to people taking from you when you don't have. And so that has just made you shut down, because it's a lot easier for you to shut down and turn off that key, that reservoir that you have, that overflow. No, everyone has their own set of overflow. And so it's so easy for you to turn that reservoir off because you don't know what boundary looks like. And the thing is, you can learn this. You can learn how to draw boundaries. You can learn how to navigate through these stories. And if you're someone that feels like you need to hoard whatever little thing that you have, whatever little bit you have, that's because you've worked so hard and you still don't know how to articulate and say that, hey, you're taking too much. Or hey, this is my limit. Or hey, I even have a limit. But I'm gonna draw a boundary here because, well, it's too much. Period. Point final. You have to be worthy enough to take. It's not even that you have to be worthy enough to take from my reservoir. It's that I am not going to play into an ideology, into a system, into a level of consciousness just because you don't have the capacity to learn it, that you haven't put in the work to learn it. I am not going to teach you when you haven't went out to learn what that is. If you have not done the learning, then why the heck should I teach you, right? Why should I take from you when you don't have the capacity to give to me? And I don't know if that made sense or if I kind of just lost the the plot, if that makes sense. But yeah, I really hope that this kind of makes sense, and I know I touched on a little a little something here. And I just felt like I had to absolutely share this. But hopefully later on, I will be able to dive a little bit more into the this ideology and really probably even provide a little bit of solution on how to navigate through it. But what I wanted this message to be really is just to bring up this awareness and just to catch yourself in the roles that you've been playing. Where have you been giving too much, and where have you been taking too much? And so to understand how to find that balance, because balance is always going to be something that you experience. And when you have gone into one extreme, you will go into another extreme, right? It's this pendulum effect. And um, and so eventually you'll understand what the middle path is. And what that middle path is the path of least resistance. It is the path of um, least harm, right? In yoga, you call it the path of ahimsa. And so that path of the middle ground, it's it's not that it's only referred to as being physically harmful to someone else, but it's also being physically harmful to you, being physically harmful to nature, being dishonoring a um, the soul and the life that exists, the soul and the life, the idea that is being created and that is being birthed. So it kind of leads into those little ideologies and understandings. And so I wish that this really lands in the way that it does for you. And I hope that there is something that you get to take away from, and it allows you to reflect on where you currently are and how to move through, how you can possibly even move through it. And so with that, I'm going to be leaving the message here. I wish you guys all the best, and I will speak to you soon.